All right, guys, now we get to the brake pad upgrade. Well, you got to remove these two bolts here, and then you have one. These are like the guide bolt that you have to remove. But now that they're loose, we can get our caliper out of the way. And there's our pads. Yeah, I know, they're like brand new, aren't they? But Galfer says, and this is going by Galfer, that with their brake pads and, sorry guys, their rotors, I won't need to upgrade the calipers for for the horsepower that I'm looking to produce. So that's one pin, and I'm going to get this done, and I'm going to show you. Okay, I got the pads out, and these are in really good shape, and these are the Galfer pads. So I got to cut the package to get them out. So there you go. These are the Galfer pads. We're going to compare these to the OEM, which aren't bad, but I'm going to pop these shims off and put them on the new brake pads. I have a thing for shims. Helps keep the bike quiet, or the brakes quiet, I should say. So we're definitely going to do that. Okay, the shims are swapped. Perfect. Now I'm going to put these in the caliper. We're going to tighten them up, and then the back brake upgrade will be done. So let me see if I can get you guys here in on the angle with me. Okay guys, hopefully you can see that. So I always start with the pad closest to the pistons, and I'm going to start the first bolt, and then I'm going to put in the second. Now I'm going to drop in our inboard pad, and you have to push in on the pads a little bit just to get the pins through it. All right, so now we got that on. The pads are on. Let's put our caliper on. There we go. And we'll start with our first bolt here. Then our second caliper mount bolt. And I believe these are 1/2 inch. Let me grab that socket. Yes, they are 1/2 inch, guys. Oop, there it is. It's over there now. All right. Does anybody have any questions about the brakes so far, that the upgrade that we're doing? Anything about the previous video about the chain drive conversion? If you're curious, no, I have not ridden it yet with the chain, because the primary is still apart, because I don't want to put it all back together with those one-time use bolts for the inner primary, the seals and gaskets, because I'm still not sure if I'm going to do the motor swap here or pay Yankee to do it. Because if I'm going to do it here, I don't want to take all that back apart. But I guess I'll find out more as time progresses. And of course, when I put it all back together, I will let you guys know, because I will be, whatchamacallit, broadcasting it live. And I'm sure everybody wants to see it too. I know I do. I can't wait to see the motor swap happening, and I really would like to have them do it. This way I could manage the live video with multiple cameras and do a walk around with the cell phone. Really make it an excellent video. All right, so that's it, man, for the back brakes. Let's pump them up because we had to collapse them. Okay, back brakes are done. Take a look at our pads. Plenty of pad life there, brand new. We'll just double check the inboard pad. That looks good. The shims look good. All right, now we're going to transition over to the front. So we have 2 pins here on each caliper, and we have these 12 point. They're 10 millimeter here, and I believe it's the same Allen socket for the rear that it is the front. Yes, it is. And I'll let you guys know that in a second. What size? It's a 5 millimeter. So these are 5. These are a T45, I believe, or a T40. I'll let you know once I get the wheel off. And again, when we do this, we have to be careful that we get the rotation of the tire right because of the ABS sensor up against the ABS bearing. And of course, like everything else, we're going to clean up everything. Like you see this grease down here, we'll clean that up before we put it back together. There's a pinch bolt down here, and I'll let you guys know what size that is when I find out. So let's get this off, and away we go. All right, guys, time to get rolling here. Let's start with the pins for the pads. We don't have to take them all the way out. Actually, why don't we? Because when I take the caliper off, they could just fall right out, and you know, that's what we want. We don't need to keep the pads in there. Okay, there's a clip that we got to remember to put back. We'll clean that too. And those pins. We got a 10 millimeter socket, 12 point. For 1, 2. Now I already pre-loosened these guys, just to give you a heads up. We'll hang that right on the brake pedal. And these pads look pretty good as well. They're about 50% worn. If you know anything about the Lowrider S, the rear brake is kind of funny. And the pinch bolt down at the bottom here, I told you I'll tell you what size it is. This is an 8 millimeter. So we're going to loosen that up, which it is. And this axle socket, it's a 3/4 inch, which goes right in there like that. But before we loosen this up, I got to take apart the other side and jack it up. So let me get that done, and then we'll pull that axle out together. All right, so I got it broken loose. I got the tire jacked up where it's barely touching. The bike is still strapped down, which is good because I don't want this thing to fall apart. But you can see the tire comes out, or the axle comes out pretty easily. This is the first time I can tell you for sure these tires have come off this bike. So I think that's pretty cool. So let me get this set up on the bench, and we'll start swapping out rotors. Okay, I got all the belts off, and I got the torque at 16 to 24, so that's 8. So I'm going to put the torque to 20 foot-pounds of torque for these rotors. So here's the first rotor. It's going to pop off. It's going to be set aside. Going to move the chain guard, which I can't keep or use. I'm kind of upset about that because of the fact of the chain. Since it's so much taller than the belt, it's actually rubbing up against the chain guard, so I can't use that. So here we go. Gallifer front rotor number 1. I really think they really set the bike off nicely. What do you guys think? I really do like it. I hope you do too. All right, so let me get all these holes here cleaned up, and then I'm going to grab the new screws. We're going to put some blue Loctite on them and torque them to 20 foot-pounds. All right, now I'm ready to start torquing the 20 foot-pounds of torque. And again, in the star pattern, and these are a T40. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now I'm going to go around again just to make sure we're good. I'm verifying the torque. That's all I'm doing. Okay, torque is verified, and we're ready to rock and roll. Flip the tire over, do the same thing on the other side, and then mount the tire, and then do all the brakes and put it all back together. So let me get that done, and then we'll work together putting the tire back together. All right, guys, just like the back axle, we're going to clean the front axle too, and we're going to wipe it all down. Spray it some WD-40 because oil cuts oil. Now I got to get my anti-seize that I left over there by the back wheel. I already got my wheels, my spacers, and everything lined up here. So when we put it back together, boy, that looks so good. I can't get over it. What do you guys think? It's my bike, and I think this is looking freaking awesome. And I'm excited. With one, the visual aesthetics and how it's turning out. 2, the performance upgrades, how that's turning out. I think this bike is really turning out to be something special in my eyes. So, there we go. We're going to line up our axles. I'm going to clean this anti-seize off. And it does get all over you, and it does get everywhere. So, all right. All right, so now we look like we're all lined up. And you got to be very careful at this point, because you can cross-thread your axle, which you don't want to do. It's the only thing I don't like about these axles, like that. Just start to cross thread it. That's why you always do everything by hand. I'm going to jack this up a little bit more, and then wrestle with it just to get the tire up off the lift. There we go. Why is this giving me a hard time? Maybe I should try lowering it down. I'm not a big fan of these. Let me get this done, and then we'll go over it. Okay, now we're putting our brakes back together. I did the other side, and so now we're here on the right side of the bike, and these pads just kind of slide in. You could do it from the bottom or the top, and they're a little bit of a dance to get them in. Why does everything got to dance with me? You know, I'm not really a dancer, but I'm gonna slide. I slid the other one in from the bottom, and just like that. Now, hopefully you guys could see this. I'm gonna do the best I can to get it on camera for you. You're gonna start with one bolt, but not all the way through, because this tab right here goes under the pin. And what this is, it's an anti-rattle clip. So we want to make sure that is on there properly and correctly. So, whoop, I missed it. Boy, this is, these aren't the most fun brakes to do, or easiest brakes, I should say, to do, but they can be done. Let me see if I can start the other one. Maybe I can start the bottom, get that one started, and then do the other side. All right, so we'll start with the bottom. And the pad moved on me again. Darn it. There we go. So, like everything else, guys, you got to take your time, and it'll come out fine. I'm starting to sound like monkey here. Everything's fine. No, but it'll all come together. And as always, start everything by hand. Just like that. And then on the front, you want to, there we go. Looks like that's getting in there. Now we'll look underneath. And as you see, the pads are kind of close, but the piston's already collapsed. So we're just going to respread them. I'm not putting any pressure there, just respreading them. I'm going to slide our caliper over our nice fresh rotor. Start our screws by hand. These are a 10mm 12 point. And we're just going to zip them right in there. And my battery's dead. Well, let's got another battery right here. Can't believe that. Batteries are dying on me left and right. There's that. And now we're going to zip these two caliper pins in. Now I'm just going to tighten them with the ratchet. I'm not going to put a torque wrench on them. There's really no need to. Just don't over tighten them. Don't leave them loose either. I did tighten the axle and I torqued that. Okay, that's one. That's two. And the only thing left for me to tighten on that axle is the pinch bolt, which is right here. All right, guys, what do you think? That's a nice brake upgrade. What do you, I really like it. Hopefully you guys do too. And the last thing you want to do is pump up your brakes with your brake lever like we did in the back with the foot lever. And they're already pumped up. All right, guys. And that's it for the brake upgrade. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. Hopefully you guys learned something. I got some value out of this. If you made it this far and you like this video and you like to see more videos like this, hit that bell notification down at the bottom. And don't forget to click the like and subscribe. All right, everybody, until the next one, live the best life you can. Ride often and ride hard.